We have a voicemail number, but today, instead of a voicemail, I have an email from a viewer that I want to read to you. By the way, please send me your pictures wearing David Pakman Show gear, with David Pakman Show coffee, with your David Pakman Show coffee mugs or bumper stickers or whatever. We want to start publishing some of those to our social media. David at davidpakman.com. Okay, if you have any David Pakman Show gear, photograph yourself with it, send it to me, David at davidpakman.com, so we can put it on social media. Okay, Leslie wrote to me. Leslie says, I think the American people should not have to pay federal taxes during a government shutdown of any kind. Trump needs to feel the sting of his actions financially. Regards, Leslie. That is a double-edged sword. On the on the one hand, it's true that it seems sort of incoherent that we have the government shut down and a whole bunch of government money is not being spent on programs because of the shutdown, but everybody still has to pay the exact same amount of federal taxes. That seems sort of incoherent. It's also kind of incoherent how the anti-tax right that has positions ranging from it's your money and you should get to keep as much of it as possible, all the way to the extreme cartoonish libertarian view of taxes are illegal. They are not making this argument when it's at least Donald Trump that has shut the government down, which further exposes the lack of coherence and the fact that this is merely a political ploy, period. But there are real consequences to the shutdown. And I actually, you know me, Pat, I am not one of these anti-tax for no reason other than just being anti-tax crusaders. But I do think that there is something to Leslie's idea that the government's not spending money. If government functions aren't actually being carried out, that's why we pay taxes. Why does everybody have to keep paying their taxes at the same rate?
We've talked about how there's really no sense of urgency during government shutdowns because only 15% of the government shuts down. The military keeps operating. People still get their Social Security checks, all that stuff. If you were to shut down some of those services, I think that the government would open up right away. And similarly, if people were to stop paying their taxes, I think the same thing would happen.
There is no doubt whatsoever. And this is why if we're really shutting down government, then maybe it should really get shut down. And that would probably prevent shutdowns from happening in the future with this frequency. We've got a great bonus show for you today. We'll talk about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer demanding equal time in parallel to Donald Trump's commandeering of American television for the purposes of scaring people about the non-existent undocumented immigrant crisis. We'll talk about much more, all of that on today's bonus show.